In the autumn of 1944, the Allies believed they might end the war in Europe by Christmas with a single, audacious stroke. The plan was breathtaking. Drop tens of thousands of airborne troops deep behind enemy lines to seize a chain of bridges, then race an army across them into the heart of the enemy. It was one of the boldest gambles of the entire war, and it hinged on capturing one final bridge, a bridge, some feared, that might be too far. By September 1944, Allied armies had broken out and swept across France and Belgium at astonishing speed. But their advance was slowing, tangled in supply problems, as the front approached the borders of the enemy homeland. To keep the momentum, one commander proposed a daring shortcut through the Netherlands. The plan had two parts. First, Market, a massive airborne drop to grab a series of key bridges over the rivers and canals of Holland. Second, Garden, a powerful armored column that would charge up a single narrow road, crossing each captured bridge in turn. If it worked, the Allies would leap across the great river barriers, outflank the enemy's defenses, and open the road into the heart of the country. The whole plan depended on speed, and on every bridge being taken and held exactly on schedule. On September 17th, the skies over Holland filled with parachutes and gliders. It was one of the largest airborne operations ever attempted. The nearer bridges were the priority, and several were seized in hard fighting. But problems appeared almost at once. Radios failed, units landed too far from their targets, and the enemy reacted faster and harder than expected. At the farthest bridge, in the town of Arnhem, a lightly armed airborne force seized the northern end and dug in, expecting to be relieved within days. What they did not know was that strong enemy armored units were refitting right nearby. The men at that final bridge were about to face a battle far beyond anything the plan had imagined. Everything now depended on the ground army racing up to relieve them, but the advance was agonizingly slow. The tanks were funneled onto a single elevated road, with soft ground on either side. One knocked-out vehicle could stall the entire column. Every mile was contested. Bridges had to be fought for, delays piled on delays. At Arnhem, the airborne troops held on with extraordinary stubbornness, but they were running low on ammunition, food, and hope. Cut off and surrounded, pounded relentlessly, they waited for a relief that was falling further and further behind. The clock, the one thing the plan could not afford to lose, was running out. After days of desperate fighting, the survivors at the last bridge could hold no longer. Under cover of night, the remnants of the airborne force were pulled back across the river. The rest were lost or captured. The final bridge, the one that mattered most, was never secured, and without it, the whole grand plan had failed. The war would not end by Christmas. It would grind on for many more months of hard fighting. Market Garden has been studied ever since as a lesson in the difference between a bold idea and a workable plan. The concept was brilliant, but it left almost no room for the things that always go wrong in war: bad weather, broken radios, a single blocked road, an enemy who reacts faster than expected. A plan that needs everything to go right is a plan that is one accident away from disaster. The airborne soldiers had fought with remarkable courage. Their sacrifice was real, and it is still honored today. But the reach had exceeded the grasp by a single bridge too far. Sometimes the boldest plans fail on the smallest details. Yet decades earlier, a bold plan of a very different kind had succeeded so completely that it shocked the world, when an Asian power humbled a European empire and rewrote the rules of who could win. That's the next story.